Welcome back, family. Bettermindz coming at you. I'm here with Maria.
Hello.
Brown girl interrupting. Me, Lovely T, Bettermind. And what's our topic for today?
Ooh, I think we are hitting perception versus reality. I know you've been thinking about it, but what kind of news do you share with us today, Jenny?
Well, perception versus reality. How do you think? It's pretty much where your thoughts at. Are they based on your perception, which is basically your personal bias? Or is your thinking based on reality? Facts, proof, truth. Is it based on that? We're going to find out. So stick around. So, Maria, when we think about perception, right, we kind of bring our own personal bias when thoughts come across. Could you agree that our perception is rarely the truth?
Oh, for sure. I think perception is a very complicated thing. And I think it seems to take us down a route that is like the opposite of the truth. It's what we want to see.
Right, it's what we want to see. And that don't necessarily mean it's true. It's factual. So,
and it's dangerous.
Very dangerous. And with you saying that means our emotions are involved in this. And although our emotions are real, they don't really reflect our reality. They really don't. Because think about it. If you're emotionally angry with someone, you handle them different versus being calmly angry with someone.
Yeah.
So your emotions is a big factor, right?
And so your emotions lead you to see things or not see things.
There you go.
And there you go, the perception.
That's the perception.
So when I was thinking about with perception also, there's two ways that comes out.
How? In what way?
So I think sometimes our perception is based on our positive, hopeful emotions, and we try to romanticize things. And so we see things that aren't there in a positive way, but it can lead us to believe something is reality when in fact it's our perception of reality.
Now, could it always be in a positive way, though?
So I think that's the other thing. Now, like the other end of perception is when we go to all the negatives. And I can give an example of this.
Yes, give me an example.
So lately, I've been having a lot of challenges in the relationship with my children. I've got 4 children, 3 of which are grown teenage boys, and my dynamics with them have led me to keep thinking about a lot of things, and one of which is that I perceive interactions with them as connections to the dynamics of their father and me in a very manipulative relationship. And so my perception is that our relationship is forever damaged because of what happened to them
In the
in
past.
this past, and like what happened to them between us and like, our family dynamic. But like, so that is how like I automatically go to this thinking a lot of times lately I've been that is negative, and it's like, well there's gotta be something that's gonna be wrong that happened. And you go through this list in your perception of all the possible doomsday things, all the what ifs. So it can be romanticized in a real positive way, or it can be the doomsday of what ifs. Either way,
Can you see the bigger picture?
No, because you think everything is either black or white. There's got to be one way or the other way. So, no, you can't see past the possibility of these two ways, and that's it, right?
Right. Because it's like,
Because you're fixed.
you're fixed. You in this box, and you said, I'm not coming out this square or this box for nothing. I'm stuck. If I come out this box, something negative is going to happen to me, because that's not a part of my belief system. That's another topic, but we're going to get to that, because that's something strong. That belief system, it will stop you from achieving things you need to do, want to do, grabbing your success, that belief system. But that's a different topic. So, if we can't see the bigger picture and we're stuck inside this box, and you're not open, you don't have an open mind, right? You're in this small frame. So your perception is going to be small. You're not really going to be interested in the facts because you're fixed. And that leads to no growth.
And you can't see the facts.
You can't see the facts.
Because your perception is clouding your judgment.
So true.
So is that perception also like another way that we stay in a space that's comfortable rather than experience the discomfort of facts?
I think so. I think that's where our prejudgments come in. Right?
Yeah. What we know, what we think we know.
And that's not always a good thing, because your prejudgments exist with your past results. That's not always a good thing, because it could have been something real negative that you experienced, and now that you have an opportunity again, you turn it down because of past results, past experience, your belief, your thoughts, your perception.
So you just made a really good point, is that perception is not just what we're perceiving. We have to understand where that perception is coming from. So my association of understanding that my perception of everything that might go wrong with my dynamic of my children is because I make the connection to, well, it's because I believe it's my husband, right? But that can be undone.
You can unlearn that. And you unlearn that through gaining self-awareness. What was you about to say? You was about to say something.
No, I was wondering, like, so it's those associations, right? So our brain is doing it even faster than we realize.
Right. Exactly. It's a trigger. So it'll hit you before you even thought. Why? Unless you take the time to become aware of your thoughts.
So it's time and awareness. And recognizing that you have perception at the forefront and not reality.
That's right. And that's the whole perception side of it. And we're going to come back. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about the reality side of it. Some good stuff. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. Bettermindz, Brown Girl Interrupted. You know, we here to interrupt, so you can have a better mind at the end. All right?
I like that. Always interrupting, always working to the better man.
There you go. All right, then. So we talking about what? Reality.
Reality. We covered perception. Now tell us about reality.
Okay, so it's simple. It's real simple. Reality is proof, facts. It's true evidence. You can't go wrong. You can't say, oh, that color blue. Clearly you see it's red. The fact is that it's red. So no matter what I say, what color it is, you can't tell me that it's not red. The reality of it is, it's red. You can say blue, green, all you want. I'm gonna go with the reality. So do you think on a reality level?
Sometimes more than others. I think that's for everyone. I don't know what you think on a reality level all the time, but it's hard. I think we are trained to think in perception first.
Because of those experiences.
Because of emotions. Those emotions are really powerful. Emotions are what start us in that perception. So how do we take our emotions and move them to that reality space?
Well, how did you get in the mindset of perception before reality? How did all that happen?
I think society.
Of course, definitely.
I think, and then emotions, like our emotions are so strong, they take over parts of our brain that stop us from thinking rationally.
So we got to.
I got
Audience
a
question?
question.
Oh,
Yeah, audience question.
You have an audience question.
Do you think that people have that perception of reality because of society? Because I've been trying to think that too. Because you have reality, then you got society. You know what I'm saying? And people try to mess those two together. So is their perception of reality is because of what they feed us in society or what they tell us society is?
Okay, that's a good question.
You see?
That's a good question. It's deep. But I will say this is how that comes about. So, whatever you believe in, this is what your belief system is all about. Whatever you believe in, if you believe in everything the news say, they condition you to believe that way. That's now your perception. That's society. If your belief system and you did stuff based on your faith system, church, religion, whatever, you're gonna react based on what they taught you, based on your perception of what you believe in that faith system. You're gonna approach life in that way. If you're an individual where none of that matters, none of that can condition your mind to be a certain way, you think based off of reality, that is not on a social perception. That's not on a society level, if that makes sense. The other two, yes, because faith is society. The media and all that other stuff that can condition you, that's all society. But yourself is not. It's individual.
I like that point. And I think, like what you said about belief and institutions, right? Like religious institutions, they create what we believe or think we believe. But I wonder though, thinking about your question, I think there's also an element of reality that can be from other aware
There we go.
of our own thinking.
Uh-huh.
So it's not just the perception, but it's the awareness of perception that helps us to understand reality in a way where it's not clouded by society's messages or society's, belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good question.
That was a bomb
Deep.
question.
That
I
was
like
deep.
that. I like that
Y'all
question.
send in some real deep
Yeah,
questions.
send
like
questions.
That, or not deep. Just send in some
Comment
questions.
below. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel.
I don't know if you can tell, but Trini and I love a good conversation.
We love it. I mean, we're trying to open minds. And she's always interrupting my mind, so I gotta better both of our minds. And hopefully yours too.
I'm known for interrupting, I'm sorry. That's what I do.
But going back to being aware, because if you're self-aware of your thoughts, you're more based your situations on reality instead of perception. You know what I'm saying? So when you have the perception state of mind, you can find yourself in holes, right?
Yeah, lots of holes.
You can find yourself in a hole and you can keep digging that hole and keep digging that hole because your perception is setting you back.
Yeah. And it's really hard to get out of those holes.
It is. It's hard to get out of those holes.
Do you have a way?
I have a way. It's called facing the facts. Facing the facts, baby. I mean, if you know, excuse my French, you in a shitty mess, you gotta face the reality of first, how you got there. Your involvement in it without including without including the situation of the other person or other people involvement, take them out. It's not about them, it's about you. So you have to face your involvement. You have to also not blame yourself, but forgive yourself.
I was going to ask you that because when we face our involvement, I think a lot of times what we end up doing, so recently I've been just reflecting on this idea of like decisions I've made in the last few years, and it's hard not to want to then, when you face your involvement, be like, well, what if I done this, or what if I done this, and then the outcome could have been different, or you blame yourself and you have guilt, right?
Right.
So I have to just see my involvement without judgment or blame, but just the factual involvement that it is. I was there. I made those choices. This is where the outcome was.
Uh-huh.
How's that help me though?
It helps you because you took your emotions out of it. She took her emotions out of it. She's not thinking with perception. She's actually thinking with reality. She's facing the facts. I love it.
I'm trying. It's not that easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy, but I think that's okay too though. It's
Yes.
okay to say it's not easy.
That's
it's
what
okay
human
to say it's not
experience.
comfortable.
Yes. We have another question.
That's the question.
So, with emotion, right? Because, we've always learned that, emotion is like it's like a human defect. You know what I mean? So with emotion, time is up. I'll wait for the next segment.
That's good. I'm curious to hear now.
We will come back. See you soon. Okay, welcome back. So we're gonna open with this question. And what was the question?
All right. So my question was pertaining to the emotion, and I said, because emotions is more human based, you know, and it's really fed to us. So how does it's leading to astrology. How does a person who is emotional, like a Cancer or a Aries, and if that is their astrological nature, how do they, you know, I don't want to say remove, but how do they eliminate it? Because elimination and removal is two different things. You could remove something, but it's still there. Right.
It's a characteristic trait.
Right.
A spiritual trait. How can they remove the emotion?
Eliminate.
How can they eliminate the emotion that will coexist with the perception? Good question.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm curious to know, is it the need to eliminate it or the need to be free of it? Because you lifted this up for me, like earlier we talked about, like it's not about holding on to the emotions, right? It's just about being free of them, so we just exist and we have, because emotions are human, like we're supposed to have our emotions, but they don't drive us.
Well, the reason why I said eliminate is because if you remove something, it's still there. If you free something, it's still there. The reason why I said eliminate, because I don't look at the love for a family member or a child or something. I don't associate that with emotion. You're a part of me. You know what I'm saying? My blood is your blood. You came from me. So, and you know what I'm trying to say. Like you came from each other. You're half of us. So that's not an emotion there. You are us. You feel me? So I don't equate love with emotion. That's just me. I know a lot of people do. It's just that love in that sense, you know what I mean, is not emotional. Like we're two halves that made a one.
Right.
So that's why I used eliminate. If you eliminate them in terms of the society that we live in, like everybody is with the pandemic, even before the pandemic, people were acting a certain way with each other.
Right.
You know, they watch something on the news, like nothing that has no bearing on their life. As soon as they see it or as soon as they hear it, they have this emotional that attached. That's why I was saying eliminate it, because like, why are you attached to that? You know, like why does that? So that's why I asked the question.
Okay, so I would like to change removal and eliminate to control.
Okay.
Why? Because if this is a astrological trait that's embedded in you and it's something that you know that's just you, you're never going to be able to eliminate it. But you can control it. You can deal with it differently if you take your time to think about your thought. And once you think about it, you'll be able to control that emotion.
That's a good answer.
And I like that because when you eliminate something, my worry is that you're giving up a piece of it.
Right.
So if I'm a Capricorn, we're emotional people. We don't show it.
No, that's that stone.
But we feel with real emotions, right? So, but they're part of who we are. So some days I really do wish I had no emotion, right? I didn't feel anything, then I would be stoned. But if I was stoned, I wouldn't be me.
Exactly.
So by controlling it, I'm able to not allow it to drive me. Like it's there, it exists, it's present, it's part of who I am, but it's not all of who I am. It doesn't define me.
That's right.
And it doesn't control me. I control it.
That's right. And that is the reality of it.
Sounds like to do all of this, I need to know myself well.
You need to know yourself. And the only way you're going to know yourself is by becoming self-aware. It's time to build that self-awareness. So I came up with an acronym that will go deeper into what self-awareness is.
Tree's always had good acronyms. Break it down.
I got a good one. I got you. Okay, so self-awareness is self-evaluation is first. And with all readiness, each need excels in seeing the soul. Self-awareness.
That end part, man. Each need is
Each need excels
in seeing the
soul.
That's it. It's your needs and your soul seeing each other. So how do we get to that place?
You know what? I'm gonna play a game with you, and we're gonna see if your thoughts are based on perception or reality. Okay, it's game time. So this game is to see where your thinking mind is. It's to see how you perceive certain things. And we're gonna just play the game based off of words. It's a good challenge. It's a brain exercise to see if you are more, also to see if you are a negative thinker, a positive thinker, just to see where you at. Are you basing your thinking on your personal bias, or are you basing your thinking on facts? And remember, personal bias is what you perceive based off of your past results, whether it was a negative or a positive result. That's what your perception is based off of. And reality is facts, proof, true evidence, right? So, I'm gonna show you the word, and I'm gonna let it marinate for you for like 10 seconds. Then I'm gonna show Maria the word. And I'm gonna let her talk about the word. And see where her mind takes her on these words. Are we ready?
I am. This is the game of self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
First word. If you can't see it, it says big fat pussy. Even think about the sound of me just saying it. What do you think about?
Ooh, okay.
So what's your thoughts?
So first, I went the X-rated way, and my mind went straight to the literal of what that meant. The vagina, right? I was thinking about big fat pussy.
Right.
But then I thought about it as like something someone says to someone else, and that connection of like a slur.
Right. Okay, so now.
And then it's negative.
And it's negative.
So big fat pussy, the first way, like I think about it just as a vagina, like it just is.
Right.
But if I think about it as like something someone's saying to someone else,
It's
then
negative.
it's negative.
So you will, it depends, right? Okay, so if I attach that to this big fat pussycat, what you thinking about now? What you thinking about now?
Well, I'm thinking about cat, because you added the word cat.
You thinking about a cat.
So now I'm associating a cat and not just the other words.
You're associating the cat, right? So when I say, and I'm gonna pause real quick because this word can't be heard by a small audience. So, let me tell you where your thoughts are. With just the big fat pussy one, right? Don't you know that the dictionary said that pussy is a cat? But your mind didn't think of a cat with this card. It didn't. But your perception of society, of what the media had showed you, and you know, all the things you experienced, your mind went to a vagina or someone calling someone a name calling, right? That was perception. but the reality of the word is a cat. You see where that goes?
You know what I think also when you say those two things? I was thinking that this goes back to the idea that like you can prove it, right?
Mm-hmm. You prove it.
A cat is only a cat. Like there's only one, like that definition is not open to interpretation.
Right.
But pussy has so many different meanings and associations that it leaves it a lot wider
That's
than
right.
what we're thinking about.
That's right. So now you know the concept of this game. We're going to flow through a little bit more cards. And we'll ease on it in it. Okay. Politician. Politician.
For me, automatically, government law, but like I think sneaky,
Mm-hmm.
not trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
Skepticism comes right to mind when I think of the word politician.
Mm-hmm. So if you was in fact and you seen a politician do nothing but positive things, proof, genuine proof, but in your mind you think a politician is not trustworthy, it's sneaky, you still won't think about that with this politician that has the factual evidence of doing good things. You got the facts, but that don't matter because your perception saying he's still sneaky. You're not basing it on reality at that point. You're basing it on your perception. And that's where prejudgment comes from. You prejudge without the facts. And you do look like an ass. We can't assume. The beginning of assume is what? A-S-S, ass.
You make an ass out of you and me, right?
I'm not a donkey. I don't have no intentions of becoming no jackasses.
But so this goes back to the self-awareness of like we have to be aware of the associations we make. So if I know that, yeah, like I look at politicians and yeah, I believe all those things, but like, you know, when Barack Obama came out, he was the first politician for me that I questioned the same way. Like I still like, you know, we're still looking, making sure that everything, you know, like all the decisions were being made for the right reasons, but like I definitely didn't see him as much in that same light as I have with other politicians in
Right.
return.
Right.
So my awareness of it helped me to make sure that I had a wider lens when I looked at it.
Now this word, keep what you just said. Rapist. Rapist. There's no positive connotation to this whatsoever. So what's your thoughts?
Criminal, but like, you know, someone is evil, I guess.
Evil,
It feels
yes.
like evil. It feels evil, it feels controlling. Like, yeah, it just.
Okay, so we have a extra answer to this. Audience, what do you think when you see this?
Again, I want to apologize to the audience, whoever doesn't have a mind like me, but because you know my mind is metaphysical, the card before you put up was politician, and then the next card was rapist. So I just thought of a systematically rapist when I, you know what I'm saying?
That's where it took you.
That too is rape. You rape my pockets.
Yeah.
There
You know what I'm
go.
saying? It's like it goes with everything.
Those two words.
Yeah, I had connected
You
those.
connected it differently.
And I guess like in hearing them in sequence, they put those two together.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a condition, you know. And that's the purpose of this. because I just conditioned your mind that a politician can be a rapist. Because remember, I said, hold that thought about the politician before I showed this card. And also, not just the condition part of it, but there was two different answers to this. Both had negative connotations to it. Perception versus reality. All right, the next one. Life coach. Life coach.
Somebody who gives guidance, advice, knowledgeable.
Okay.
That's where it goes.
Okay. Some positive things. I'm sure everybody had the same.
I don't know a lot of like coaches or things about life coaches, but that's what I would say.
Okay. Okay. Fuck off. We have a audience answer for this one. What would you like to say?
Yo, to me, it's self-explanatory. Just fuck off. You just don't want to be bothered. That's what fuck off means. I don't want to be bothered with any kind of thing. So just fuck off.
What do you do?
I mean, I don't know.
Same thoughts? Same thoughts. Same thoughts. This is what you perceive. If I tell you that, of course you're like, oh, something wrong with this chick. She don't want to be bothered, or she having a bad day, and she might not even be having a bad day. She just don't want to be bothered. Simple. You can view it as negative or positive.
So is it the perception that I have if someone says it to me, or the perception that someone has of me if I say it to them?
Both. Because if the perception of you saying fuck off to me, the first thing I'm going to think is somebody fucked her day up. She having a bad day. But I know that fuck off wasn't towards me because I didn't do that to her. That's just how I think. So I don't get mad at her response. For what? Because I'm sure all my friends and connections that I make with people, they know that they can be upfront with me. So if she say fuck off to me, I'm like, oh, she going through something. He going through something. That's just my thought. That's just where that takes me. Versus somebody else might be like, fuck off, who the hell are you talking to? And be ready, it's fight time, it's go time. You know what I'm saying? But that's the perception. Are you basing it on perception or reality?
So if it's reality, then fuck off is just like,
Whatever.
messing with her today.
That's just how they feel.
That's how they feel.
Let
I'm
them
on
be.
the way. It's not about me, it's about them.
That's right. You make it about you when you want to cause an infraction and it turns into a fight or an argument. You made it about you and it wasn't even about you. Next one. Rich person. Rich person.
I think power, resources, control, dominance.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Poor person. Audience?
I mean, that alone, right? Again, from what I see it as a state of mind. Poor person to me is just a state of mind. It's just how you thinking. You know what I mean? Like y'all already talking about perception, so it's like how you perceive what poor is.
Right.
And if you attach what poor is to you, then I guess whatever you want it to mean, then you poor.
Right.
That is it.
So state of mind for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you thought a poor person, what did you think about?
What I honestly was thinking is that both of those words are so nuanced. Like there's not one way to see it, right? And I think when you said what you said, what you made me think about was that like that richness in life, right? So what do you rich in? So that can be shifted too, like in the way you think about it.
Right.
Yeah, because otherwise, I think that's it, right? Like I associated rich with power, but I didn't necessarily make that like binary to poor as not power. Like, so I wasn't sure where I stood on it. But I think what you said helped me kind of see it differently.
And poor can also be thought of as homeless. A physical state. Some people can associate that with that.
So, and I guess the wondering is the danger of our associations is not just the associations we make, but then the assumptions that come from those associations.
Exactly.
So it's not necessarily whether or not what I think about when I see a rich person or when I see those words, right? It's that am I picturing one person or one type of person and am I judging them? So if they're rich, does that make them better? And if they're poor, does that make them less?
Right.
That's the danger, right?
That's the danger. That's where those perceptions and that's where your personal bias affects your thinking, your thought pattern. We're gonna move on to the next one. Muslim.
I'm gonna be quiet for this one already.
I would like to hear your thoughts, but what you thinking when you see Muslim?
Well, for me, it's my identity. So I just think of a Muslim, which could be anybody who follows the faith of Islam, right? And a range of what that looks like, and a range of who that is, and a range of what levels of following. So like, it's just someone who follows Islam to whatever level and whatever degree we do.
Audience.
I already said, for me, I just saw it as, I don't look at it, because it called me differently. No one brung me into it. It literally was a calling that I heard.
Right.
And for me, it's not, I don't associate it with religion. You know, like how we learn, it's a way of life.
Right.
You know? And for me, it's a way of life. Whatever you catch yourself religiously, I just remove the religion and just call it way of life.
Right.
So that's how I look at it.
Okay. Cross-dresser.
We had this conversation. I didn't associate cross-dressing with anything negative because I had said you have, okay, if you want to look at it from an LBGT standpoint, there's cross-dressers that's not necessarily gay. They just, you just have men that just like to put on women's clothes, just like, you know, when your cousin or something, when you was little, you know, they put on their mom's shoes or whatever. We just never associate that like, oh, that was bad, or, you know, you're doing something wrong. It's just, I mean, if you put it on, you put it on. That's where I'm at with it. I mean, you know how I am, so.
What are your thoughts on cross-dresser?
So right away I was thinking, I'm not even sure, is that determined? Like I feel like...
Right, that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Is it is there another term of like, of someone who just dresses in the, you know, another gender's clothes, right? Like, and I think like that's something that's interesting about this process too, right? In our associations and like in our perceptions. perceptions is that from what I probably would have said and thought about it like 10 years ago to what I see now and what we know now society-wise, like in the like commonality of it, like it's just like it is part of the conversation. Like LGBTQ is not something I would have known 10 years ago, right?
Nope.
But like now it's part of the vernacular. Like it is what we say, right? We know that's a thing. That's a reality, right?
Right.
But let me add on, because we had this conversation before she came, and I was telling her, like, I remember before in high school, like, the dudes who was riding skateboards, or, you know, they was like punk rock, that's before emo, you know, like, they were wearing nail polish, and we never said that they was gay. We knew that, yeah, cause you on that skateboard, like, you just on that, you know what I mean? You a skateboard dude, you like the rock dude or the gothic look, so we just never said like, oh, that was weird. We knew exactly why they did that, you know? So for like you said now, moving forward, looking now to see somebody doing it and then act surprised like it didn't happen before, you know, it's good. You're doing good. Just leave it like that.
Right.
Right. But and I think like that goes to like that assumption of like it being about sexuality.
Right.
Like it
Right.
has nothing to do with sexuality,
Right.
right? Like the nail polish, if I wear it or don't wear it as a guy or a girl, whatever.
Right.
It has nothing to do with my sexuality. It's my choice.
And
And
again,
that's the reality of it, right?
that's the reality of it, if you think like that.
Yes.
But if we choose our perception and automatically associate cross-dressing with gay, tranny, any of those associations, and it could be nothing of the association. It's just a style.
It's just a choice.
This is also a choice. Okay. Last two. Let's see what we can rock your mind with. Michael Jackson. What is your perception or reality of Michael Jackson? Go ahead, honey.
First of all, I don't think that's fair. It's not fair, but you know, I don't know. This for me is kind of personal because like I grew up on Mike. You know, moms done told you already. I'll buy the little, you know, I'll go to the little Chinese store, get the little Chinese shoes, get the little socks and stuff, and so like for me it was different. I don't know. I saw Mike different. I didn't really see Mike as, I seen him more as musical. I was like, I mean, honestly, at one point, Michael Jackson literally had the whole world in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it just amazed me how one person could do that.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder, you know what I'm saying? It was kind of influence to me liking music. So, you know, he had a lot of inspiration. So I see I think of inspiration, I guess, you know, icon inspiration, just seeing the name.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not going to lie and say he didn't, you know, growing up in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? If you said he didn't have an influence on your life, you're lying. Like, come on.
We know that ain't the
Come
reality.
on now. Yeah, that's Mike. So that's where I'm at with that.
What about you?
So I think like I thought performer
Mm-hmm.
and you know talent
Mm-hmm.
and like gifted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But complex.
Mm-hmm. I like
And
that.
I think that's the thing. Like
I like
everything
that.
you just said is like you can hold both those things
Right.
in the same space. So he can be inspirational and
Yeah.
amazing, but still someone who makes mistakes. And as long as both pieces of that reality are present,
Mm-hmm.
you can be like his music is like classic, right? Like it's foundational classic of like the music industry and like everything that's associated with it. So like that isn't like you can't discount that. But you also gotta know the reality of like the other pieces. Like so they to the complexity of like it all exists in the same space.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. And most people will discard him as a performer. Most people will discard his music and just think of him as a pedophile because of what has been shown. You know what I'm saying? Which is a negative connotation on him. We don't like it. And honestly, we don't have no facts or nothing. So, what you do then? How can you go with reality if you don't have the facts on it? You have no choice but to go by your perception. And if you go by your perception, you still got to use that thinking mind. Okay? You still have to use that thinking mind and not prejudge. We're going to go to the next one. And let's see. This is the last one. You. How do you perceive you?
That's a good question. Is that for the audience?
Yes, audience.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't know. Because I've detached myself from a lot of things out here. I am. That's pretty much.
That's right.
I am. That's it. I'm all that and then some. That's it. I am. There's nothing I'm confused about. I'm comfortable with who I am. I have no reason to be anybody else. You know, I have a saying, I like to stay in my lane. I don't like to go in other people's lane because I don't like traffic. So that's where I'm at. I'm on my highway. That's what I'm saying. I am.
Before she answers, I will say, and my husband gave me this jewel right here, and I liked it. At the end of the day, what'd you say? What's the question? At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, is this the person you want to be? And if it is no,
you got some work. So what thoughts came to mind when you saw you?
Ooh. I think I just went to the word complex. Because I think we all are. Like, there's just too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much to make one association.
Mm-hmm.
We're just really layered, all of us. Yeah, so make mistakes. I'm learning constantly. Like, you know, I just am, right? But I am in complexity. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm in lots. I'm not perfect, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, in saying that, do you think this is the society we're living in now?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's right for us to be shamed that we're not perfect? Because remember, all of our sources of information now come through social media. So it is them who's kind of really controlling the narrative and controlling people's lives. So should we be shamed for not being perfect?
No, definitely not. And I would say it's beyond social media. Right? Social media is the platform in which it comes out now. Perfectionism has been long embedded in society, right? And I'll be honest, I'm gonna take a little bit deeper in this, but like, really, honestly, we're talking about white supremacy culture. Like, perfectionism is white supremacy culture. Like, it's this idea of there is one way of being.
Right.
It puts you in that binary idea, because if you're not perfect, then you're imperfect.
Right. And you can't achieve what?
And
that
flawed.
American dream.
No.
They try to put at your plexi. That American dream.
I'm still trying to figure out what that is.
Right. So I love it. I love what y'all say. Some good stuff, guys. It's some good stuff. So, this has been your perception versus reality. And we're going to get into some self-awareness next topic. Appreciate you. And remember, check out links. Like, share, and compare and comment. Brown girl, better mind.